Today's Talking Memphis Wrestling is dedicated to the memory of one of the greatest heels in professional wrestling history. Courtesy of Scott Teal, I learned that yesterday the great Frankie Kane, the great Mephisto, the Inferno, passed away at 93 years old. Again, keeping up with history of professional wrestling. Talking Memphis Wrestling honors the legends, and this show dedicated to the memory of Frankie Kane.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales is now streaming live on Fun Media at fun927.com and is always on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and at tv5wrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
It is clear. It's now 37 degrees. It's a warming streak, and we're ready to go with Talking Memphis Wrestling. Hi, Frank. Al, it's so good to see you. Had a birthday the other day, and we're ready to rock and roll with this great Talking Memphis Wrestling show today. Great video. I'll show you the first pro wrestling interview promo I ever did in my life. Also today, we'll look at 1982, including a Jerry Lawler, Bobby Eaton match, and much, much, much more. Also, we talked as we opened the show with the dedication, the loss of Frankie Kane. I also want to tell you some happy news. This is a birthday, a famous birthday today of one of the great NWA World Heavyweight Champions. Today is the Funkers. Today is Dory Funk Jr.'s 85th birthday. So we will say happy birthday to Dory Funk Jr. Loaded show, absolutely loaded. Adam doing the great fireworks or whatever that stuff is, making it fancy. Adam's been on a roll. You can tell the bug at the top is the new graphic for Talking Memphis Wrestling. If Adam would put it in a bigger situation and put it up on the screen, he did great, beautiful work with the new Talking Memphis Wrestling logo, streaming live every Tuesday night at 7 Central on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, and also Twitch. Man, fired up and ready to go with Talking Memphis Wrestling. Now, we'll do a first take. First guy in the house, he's from Birmingham, Alabama, and we'll go right to Pat Trammell because we have a lot to do.
Lot to do. It's cold in the Mid-South. It's always hot on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Good to see Richard and Calvin and Frank and everybody on tonight. Yeah, terrible. Sorry to hear about Frankie Kane's passing. The great Mephisto wrestled a good bit in Atlanta. You told me a story of he and Johnny Walker. I know he wrestled a lot out on the West Coast, and our legends are leaving us. But he was a, in my youth, a wrestling heel, a foreign wrestling heel was somebody you brought to town and they got attention. And the great Mephisto certainly got attention.
Another person got attention, of course, is Dory Funk Jr.
That's absolutely right. I was telling you before we started the show, I had the chance to meet and visit with Dory when Cody Rhodes dropped the NWA belt at the birth of AEW to Nick Aldis in the historic arena in Nashville, and one of the best live matches I believe I've ever seen. They had a nod to the concession stand brawl. It was all over the building, and a great visit with him.
Want to say hello to Richard Hood. PJ is in the house from Thailand. Frank Seaton from Jonesboro, Arkansas, the other part of Arkansas. Al Tuttle saying hello to everybody. Richard Hood always says hello to everybody. Calvin Winston Jr., there's so many people watching as we go from Jonesboro, Arkansas to Birmingham, Alabama to the Huntsville, Alabama area in Arab, Alabama. Again, a loaded show and first take. Michael St. John, quick intro today.
Hey guys, good intro. Thank you. It didn't have to go. You put me over without putting me over. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. Hello, Pat. Good to have you back. It is Monday. You're right. It's cold up here as it is down there. The reason, of course, that we're having all this cold snap, they always said if Indiana ever won the football national championship, hell would freeze over. So that's the reason. First take, did anybody get to see the WrestleMania event from Saudi Arabia?
Royal Rumble, not WrestleMania. WrestleMania will be next year.
Right, it's a lead up to to WrestleMania though. Yes. This year, the Royal Rumble. So not to misspeak, but I was just wondering what your take was on it. I know I have my opinions, and I think we've shared our opinions on social media with each other, but. The fireworks at the end of the show, and it was a 3:00 in the morning fireworks show from Riyadh, were incredible. I mean, New York City can't do as well as that. It was an incredible fireworks show at the end of the show, but the fireworks during the matches, in my opinion, were sort of lackluster. And I've never seen so many missed moves that cameras caught in a WWE event than I saw on Saturday night. And I got it for free because now Peacock comes with some package that Mel subscribed to with us. So I got to see it, but I don't know.
And let me correct you. You probably didn't watch it on Peacock. Are you sure you didn't watch it on ESPN? Because that's where I watched it. It's on ESPN now, the pay-per-views for the WWE.
That's exactly. You're right. It's not Peacock. But the I think Melanie subscribed to Prime, and we got a deal, and we got Disney and ESPN Plus or whatever it is called now, right, for their pay-per-views. But I don't know, Pat, did you happen to see it?
I saw the first half of it, and just as a comment, I went to the Royal Rumble in Houston at Tropicana Field probably in 2017 maybe. I was originally not a big fan of the concept, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I got the opportunity to see here. I was thinking about, why are they going to Saudi Arabia?
Money.
Well, and I thought, and I'm an older guy, although I think I'm the junior member of this threesome. Adam
salute
excluded.
To you, my friend.
Adam excluded, but the thing about that is, you want to do it over there because the world's different now. They pay for pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia too. So it's a worldwide wrestling federation now, right?
Exactly. Did you guys catch the women's matches and the way the women were attired to wrestle in the ring versus what we see here in the United States of women's wrestling, which is more of a lingerie contest at times? They were all fully clothed head to toe. And I really felt sorry for a lot of those girls because they were working some 20, 25-minute matches in some cases, and they must have been dying in those outfits. Ric Flair's daughter, and especially, she was showing her sweat beads off as she was in a beautiful gown type thing. And boy, by about the 8-minute mark in the match, she was just a sweat box.
That's been going on for about 5 years. When they first started running in that part of the world, they couldn't have, if the first couple of years, they couldn't have women there. And somebody told me, I won't mention his name, they gave the talent the first time because I'll kind of will hint what's going on here. Jerry Lawler was one of the persons along with JR that went, and they got oh, don't do this in Arabia or you'll get killed type of thing with a bunch of stuff. It's scary. So that's a situation. And if Adam could go ahead and put 5236 up there and just a little bit of the Royal Rumble thing. I think they put a lot of thought, Michael, in the Royal Rumble matches, and that's a lot of thought in it. However, to tell you the truth, as this is, as you said, the road to WrestleMania, this is the least amount of excitement that I probably ever had for WrestleMania. I didn't like anything at all on that show. And I'm not a negative Nanny at all, and certainly I'm not. But I'd say since the way they butchered John Cena's retirement tour and all that sort of thing, I have no interest in current professional wrestling at all. Zero.
Wow. Well, I don't want to get to this show started off on a negative light, but I agree with you. And I think the execution of what they did not bear, I don't think it certainly didn't make me and people I've talked to any interested about going to the Las Vegas WWE WrestleMania show. That's for sure. Let me ask a quick question too. The Great Mephisto and Dante, two different Mephistos?
Two different deals.
Okay.
Two different
and
deals.
Finally, a friend of mine from up in New Jersey sent me a link on Netflix of a series that ran, I think, in 23, and I think Netflix has recycled it and it's back again, called Wrestlers, all about OVW. And I didn't, and he sent it to me. He said, "You're in this." And I'm like, "I've never worked for OVW." And sure enough, in episode 2, there is a shot of wrestling commentators from different areas, and I'm there. I'm in there, and I'm talking.
Did you get a check?
I didn't get a check. That's okay. That's
they
okay.
may owe you a check.
Well, but I did find it. I did watch. I finished watching the 7 episodes, and it was done by the BBC, which they do good work. And I don't think it was promoted real well because I knew nothing about it. But I thought all in all, it wasn't bad. Randy, are you familiar with it?
No.
Okay, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link, and I think you might enjoy it. Oh, okay, Pat, I'll send you two. One of the main characters is the guy that bought OVW, that is now the mayor of Louisville, Craig Greenberg, who's a friend of mine. I've had him on the radio 4 or 5 times. Really nice guy, and he's in it. And I don't know, it just it was BBC-ish, and in my opinion, not bad. But I'll let you guys decide for yourself. On with the show.
Yeah, send me a link of that, Michael.
I will do that. I will do that, Pat.
Talking Memphis Wrestling on the air on February the 3rd. It's a loaded show, and we are going to, and Pat says this a lot, Michael does sometimes say, I've never seen that before. Here is a rarity. It's in 1989, and we're going out of the Memphis territory. I had got mad at your pal, the guy you love, Jerry Jarrett, and I had left and went home to Jonesboro. I got the hell away from that prick. Anyway, I was gone. Bill Dundee and I had became traveling partners before I had left. He had ended up getting mad at you know who, and he went and took the booking job for Continental Wrestling Federation, which was the promotion there in your neck of the woods in Dothan and Mobile and Birmingham. By that point, they were doing TV in Birmingham. Bill called me up and said, hey, I want you to make some towns with me. And at that point, he used to call me Abe because Jerry Lawler asked me to grow a beard because he thought on television I look too young. So this is a 2 minute 45 seconds, and I was there under my one and only gimmick. First time I'd ever do that. My name was Randy Lincoln Hales. As we watch that 2 minute 45 second thing, a little bit of Charlie, a little bit of Tom Pritchard, and a whole lot of RH as we watch now our first video on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Tom Pritchard, nice to meet you. He doesn't bite, does he? Yeah. Nice to meet you. Tom Pritchard, let me tell you something. I heard him ask, my name is Randy Hales, brother, and what I set out to do today is to live up to my family. You ever heard of the name Lincoln, brother? Yes, I have. My mother's side of the family, important family in the whole United States, brother. And what I set out to do is to clean up professional wrestling from the evil. And how do you do it, Tom Pritchard? Tell me. How do you do it? Just like the professional football coach, looking for players. He spends a lot of money. I want to control professional wrestling. What do? I spend a whole lot of my family money, and we got a lot of it, brother, I can tell you. And what I do is I hire the Baltwani Beast, and he comes out, and he will destroy everybody. Who's the champion around here? There's a lot of evil in this place right now. Wendell Cooley is a very evil man. Yeah, not Ricky Morton. There's evil all over this place. Promise you, we'll kill them all, brother. He already proved that I hired him out once. A little earlier, the Cowboy Kevin Nellinger, brother. He took care of Danny Davis. If Danny Davis wants a big man, that's him out. He can have it because he's the baddest guy in town, I can guarantee. He's an impressive-looking man. What do you think? Are your questions answered now?
Has a chance against this man. Certainly not a good way to...
vicious, savage individual if you look at him.
Start off a career in the CWF, that is for sure.
First of all, Charlie Platt, here's a dime. You get out of here and call someone that really cares, because I have to have a conversation with Tom Pritchard.
Thank you very much.
I feel very sorry for you. I've been back there all day long. You have to stay out here the whole program with this jerk. He has not mentioned my creation one single time. You, of course, have all day long. You realize this man is the baddest man in the history of professional wrestling. Just look at the Beast. He's already made his reputation. What about Danny Davis? Oh, there, Tom. The Beast is killing him, brother.
I told you, when I first saw this guy last week, when I met you a couple weeks ago, I thought this guy was a very impressive individual. I think this man is going to go very far in professional wrestling today, and with a man like you behind him.
He got him right there. Look at that. The great Beast. He gets a 1, 2, 3. Anybody that wants to do some damage, I'll hire him out. He's for sale, brother.
He's for sale?
Yes, he's for sale. You need his use to get rid of Wendell Cooley or anyone else. You can have him.
Oh, thank you very much. What a guy.
In the meantime, in the ring, he continues.
All right, a very young Randy Hales, probably 27 years old. What did you think, Pat?
Well, I think two things. One, I'm going to offer you a job. If you can dye your hair black and grow a decent beard, I can get you all kind of Abraham Lincoln shot shows with the American Battlefield Trust. They'll hire you every day of the week. But who is the Beast?
He's just, I don't even know. Some dude Dundee brought into that territory.
The guy could move.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Kamala with some speed.
I think he bought Kamala's body paint.
That was a takeoff. So have you ever seen that, Michael?
No, I haven't. That was good. I like that.
All right.
Well, what happened to the Beast? That guy could work.
I don't know. I did one shot there, and Dundee didn't do much more than that, and he left. By the way, Al Tuttle found that somewhere. Al, thank you, because you sent it to me. I have been able to use it as content on
Richard says that's Peacock. Bob Peacock is who Richard said that was. Okay, Ben Peacock, Kamala number 2 in Japan. That's what Bo says. So the guy could work. At least for, 38 seconds he worked.
All right. I was thinking something. I bet you can know what I'm thinking about something because
probably so, yeah.
Yeah. Aggravating, aggravating. But I could do a rant here, but I'm not going to. And Pat knows exactly what I'm talking about. Al, I thank you again. Hey, we're going to talk about something that's one of the most controversial situations that came out of a Memphis wrestling that went worldwide and ended up in a getting major heat with Vince McMahon, the original. So start with 52-18, 52-19, 52-20, 52-21, because the subject is there was newspaper articles and all kinds of stuff. And this was in April the 5th, 1977 in Louisville, Kentucky. As you see this picture, it says the Giant and Jerry Lawler clash in a massive heavyweight battle for regional supremacy during the mid 90s, and it was certainly before that. Next graphic, please. This is the Action Ringside Memphis program. It's true. Jerry Lawler becomes the first man to beat Andre the Giant. And in that program, Michael, you recognize Jerry Lawler's handwriting. Who wrote that program?
Probably Jerry Lawler.
Absolutely. Next picture, next graphic. And this is a picture of Andre the Giant, the big guy in Louisville, Kentucky, on April the 5th, 1977. Andre the Giant slams Jerry Lawler. And I think we have a couple of more pictures. This is Andre. Notice that Jerry Lawler looks so young. Next graphic. Now, this is what got heat with Vince McMahon. Bill After ran this article in his Inside Wrestling, the wrestlers, all the magazines he did. The night a midget defeated Andre the Giant. And brother, it wasn't a 1, 2, 3. Basically, what the finish was that Andre was counted out of the. Both of them were fighting on the floor. Andre had the upper hand. Lawler took a bump back in the ring. Andre was kicked out, and certainly that got this 77. This is a month after Jerry Jarrett opened his company. A month after he opened his company, and I thought it's very interesting. And before we get Pat's comment on that fiasco, I wanted to see if Michael had heard dressing room conversations, any talk that you've heard over the years of Lawler defeating, quote, quote, Andre the Giant, and it got heat with Vince McMahon Sr.
Absolutely. I'd heard that story. I was in Memphis programming at the time at WMPS and was familiar with the event that Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum. That was one of the early cards, I believe, at the Mid-South Coliseum as well. But, Vince Sr. was the booker, manager. He controlled who got Andre, because Andre was in the New York territory, the New England territory, the WWWF, for a certain number of days a year under contract. And in the other period of time, he would travel, and not only travel in the United States, but travel in other continents as well. So you had to book Andre through Vince Sr. And normally he would come into a territory or an area for a week at a time. When Nick booked him in, when I was doing the commentary for Nick in 79, and we had Andre come to town, I actually had to pick him up. I had a brand new Crown Victoria, and he had to fold himself between the front seat and the back seat to fit in it. A huge man, and didn't talk much. I think he said like 3 words, and 2 of them were thank you when I drove him from the airport to the fairgrounds. And but you booked him through Vince Sr. And with that came some caveats of what Andre could and couldn't do, and what you could do with Andre and what you couldn't do with Andre. And one of the caveats, as I understand, was he didn't get beat. He could get DQ'd, but he could not get beat was one of the caveats. And I think you're right. I think this, and I think in the early part of Jerry Jarrett's tenure as owning the Memphis territory and owning, subsequently Louisville, it was a way to generate some talk, maybe behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera. So I always wondered that if that episode where, quote unquote, Andre got beat and Vince got all hot under the collar, did Andre ever come back after that and wrestle in Memphis for Jerry Jarrett?
Yes. 1983, Andre the Giant, Jerry Lawler, and Sweet Brown Sugar were in a six-man tag match. Don't remember the opponents right now, but that absolutely Andre did come and was a part of that match, Andre the Giant. So Pat, have you ever heard of this controversy and your feedback on that situation?
I have heard of that, and I actually talked to Jerry about that before he before obviously he left us. But it wasn't just Vince he got heat with. He said he went to the NWA meeting and he got called down by everybody. He said he got tremendous heat from all the promoters because that was the cardinal rule. You did not beat Andre. And Jerry said, that he put it on Lawler. And Vince Sr. said, you could put it on who you want, but we all lined up for you. And this is not the way we treat each other. And those were his exact words. That Vince told him, this is not the way we work in this organization. And he said, I was kind of dressed down pretty strongly there, which hell he should have been.
It's odd. It's odd that, Vince had his own territory going in the Northeast and Capital Wrestling and the WWF, but yet he had a working agreement with Sam in St. Louis with Andre. And I believe there may have been maybe some other wrestler swaps that were done or loan outs, if you would, from the WWF into the NWA during that period of time.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that, Michael.
What I've always understood, and y'all know this better than I do, and I've heard, I think I'm quoting Cornette from one of his shows, is in the, from whenever Andre started wrestling, and I get in the U.S., I guess that'd be the mid '70s. Really through the time that he left the ring, in whatever promotion, in whatever town, in whatever night, in whatever podunk town, in the Memphis Coliseum, in the Sportatorium in Dallas, in Boutwell Auditorium, at the Omni in Atlanta, Andre was pretty much a guaranteed sellout wherever he was.
Absolutely.
And, in Georgia Championship, Dusty would bring him in as his tag team partner when he was having the big feud against the Andersons to sell out a house. And, the great heel turn where Ole turned on him, he brought Andre in and they got another sold out Omni, which was, 18,000 people.
Very interesting stuff. And again, Michael, I wasn't planning to throw this out there, but as we're talking, I think obviously because it affected the whole wrestling world and got heat on the Jarrett promotion and all that sort of thing. When you talk about most controversial moments, can you name a few others?
Well, that certainly was one. Quite frankly, and I was on a podcast out of Massachusetts last night, and they were very, very bright guys that had done their background, their homework, and their research. And I forget the name of the podcast. Forgive me. It's a senior moment. But one of the things that I got asked about last night, and I think it probably was a controversial thing, was when Hogan left Jarrett to leave to go to Minneapolis, because Jerry was just starting to build Hogan when he up and left. And I don't know what all the ins and outs of that were, but I would think that was another one of those situations that you sort of scratch your head about regarding, the promotion in Memphis.
I think Hogan came in as Terry Boulder or the Hulk, and he worked a few weeks. Then he was gone. He worked for Ron Fuller. He then ended up. So he did not go directly from Memphis to Vergania. That didn't happen. He went to Ron. He then came back to Memphis, then back to Ron, and then to Atlanta, and that sort of thing. So.
Now,
Go ahead.
I have a question. So Eddie Graham sent him to Jerry, right?
Louis Tillett did.
The Booker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But he came. I mean, the story that I've heard is that he was playing bass in a band at the bar all the boys in Tampa went to. And that's where they started talking with him about, maybe you should try this stuff.
Well, I thought even before that, he had spent some time in Gulf South, down in Pensacola and Mobile as maybe not enhancement talent, but as new talent, and then left the business enchanted or something, went back to being in a band, and then the deal with Louis and the wrestlers and so forth occurred, and Louis Tillett called somebody for you. He's green, but maybe you can do something with him.
That you might, I trust your memory of that more than mine, because mine is secondhand. And Randy, I guess you were working Jonesboro then, and Michael, you were in Memphis. Obviously, how was his work rate at that point in time?
Well, first of all, in 1978, you think I heard the expression work rate in my life?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think all the way through? That's a made-up freaking word.
Where's my pal? It's still real to me, damn it.
You never heard that. The word work rate in a real wrestling dressing room. I never heard that in my life. Now, these people that
Randy, I'm a stooge. You know that.
Yes, I do.
I thought just now Pat made that up. I'd never heard it before. Certainly not in a dressing room.
See what I mean, Pat? Work rate is a situation. All the wrestlers say it now all the time, that the Goofy Young Bucks and AEW. Because here's the thing: the person that did more harm in the professional wrestling business than anybody on the face of this earth is Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer, here's the thing. Dave Meltzer smartened people up. Dave Meltzer liked Japan wrestling. He didn't like American wrestling, especially, and sometimes he would put it over, but he made up the terms. And he made up work rate, and he had 5-star matches, and then they became 24-star matches. He did more harm than anything. And you know what I think, Michael? I think that you look at his body of work, Dave freaking Meltzer's body of work, and look at what he likes as a fan. It's the Japanese stuff. It's not selling. It's not gimmicks. It's the Japanese hard style, strong style type of people, and that's why I'm saying I really think this for sure. Jim Cornette somehow another has stooges everywhere, and these people were listening to Dave Meltzer's and Brian Alvarez, or whatever the hell that goof's name is, listening to that. And you can tell I wasn't planning to get fired up today, but you brought this up. But anyway, so in that...
I'm on hot tag Pat Rose here. Pat saved me.
Go ahead, Randy. You're on a
Sorry
great
to interrupt.
Just bring it on, Randy. Come on, buddy. I love this.
So in that conversation, Pat, never interrupt my rant again, please. Pat's not a professional journalist, so he loves you and I love you too, but I'm not going to say hello to your ass in the middle of a rant. Anyway, I'm trying to
He's
make
a hell of a fisherman. Let's put that over right
Yes,
now.
he
Pat's
is.
a hell of a fisherman. I think he's baiting you, Randy. He's baiting you, buddy.
No, Pat's stirring me is what's going on here. But I'm trying to tell you guys, if everybody would shut up and let me tell this story. So Cornette got wind of this. So in the Dave Meltzer and his buddies podcast, or whatever the hell it is, they had the sound on, of course. Will Tony, Meltzer got a phone call. And you know how he had his own special ring, and it said, Tony Khan calling, Tony Khan calling, Tony Khan calling. And I'm telling you that Tony Khan has Dave Meltzer on speed dial. I really think instead of calling a Jim Cornette, instead of calling a Jeff Jarrett or Randy Hills or 1,000 other people, he calls Dave Meltzer, who likes Japanese wrestling. Selling's not a big deal. Being logical's not a big deal. That type of wrestling is that. So I think, first of all, Meltzer, what he did was smarten up the fans to the wrestling business. That makes our business not as fun or make it not as profitable for the people who did this the way we did it in the territory, going to every town. I don't like Dave Meltzer. I don't like what he did to this stinking business, what he's still doing to this stinking business. I think it's bullshit, and I think Tony, Dave Meltzer has Tony's ear. So a lot of crap. And the other thing, you know, he lives in freaking Alabama. You know Conrad, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I talked to him last week.
Did you know he did a rant pretty much on this same subject?
No, I did not. I did
This
not.
is what happened. About 8 months ago, they did a deal, and it was probably a Jeff idea. Remember when Jeff did an interview, then he did a little in-ring angle with MJF, and then 2 weeks later, it was gone? They never followed up. Jeff said in the last year of his career that he wanted to win the world championship, and he sold that, and they did it. After that one time it was live, it was gone. What Conrad says is this: Brian Alvarez went on, for some reason in Conrad's mind, Brian Alvarez said, "Oh, Jeff Jarrett's not over. Jeff Jarrett will never draw any money. Jeff this, Jeff that. Nobody wants to see that." And he talked Tony Khan into killing the deal. Can you imagine it? If I had an idea in my head and told the talent to do, can you imagine Pat Trammell call me and say, "Hey, Randy, that guy's not over. Kill the deal"? What do you think I would have said to Pat Trammell?
I kiss my ass would be the first thing that comes to mind.
Right. Maybe a few F-bombs or that sort of thing. I don't know how the hell we got off on this.
This is a good subject, though, Randy. Let's no offense, but this is a good subject. And I want to say something because I think you hit a nerve here for a lot of reasons.
Started it.
You think?
Well, I think, yeah, no kidding. I think that wrestling pundits, I think even some podcasters, Dave Meltzer writes his letter. It's not a letter. It's a frickin' Bible. Every week he writes 942 pages, most of which is drivel. No offense, but I've written all my life. And Pat, you're a literature person. Most of it is drivel. And I think that some of these people have got in their mind that their writing can affect what is happening on television in the pay-per-view world for whatever wrestling company, whether it's TNA, New Japan, AEW, maybe not as much WWE because they don't give a hoot. They're running on their own gasoline anyway. But I think that you've got a situation in particular with Tony Khan that I think Tony Khan has always really liked David Meltzer's dribble or whatever, call it what it is, okay? And because of that, there's a relationship that has developed. That is why 5-star, 10-star, 25-star matches, whatever Dave's rating them now, are always biased towards the AEW. And I think that Dave has become a big of a mark for Tony. This is my point, that Tony is for Dave. And I think we're seeing that play out on AEW. As for the Jerry Jarrett thing, I heard one of the things that was brought up, and maybe Alvarez brought it up, maybe somebody else did, said that, quote unquote, Jeff Jarrett is too old to be the AEW champion. And I heard that directly. So take it for what it's worth. But
I think Conrad said that as well.
Yeah. So
you're messing with people's livelihood, people. You're messing with people's livelihood, and I guarantee you a Jeff Jarrett MJF match would have been a lot damn better than somebody taking a bottle opener and slicing their head together or some unbelievable thing they don't sell. I mean, it's just a bunch of crap, people. It's a bunch of crap, and we created another rant that I will say about that. The Young Bucks. Meltzer always puts them over. Now, am I into that sort of wrestling? No. And do I hate it as much as Jim Cornette does? No. But here's how they play, the Bucks play to Meltzer. They called their own damn finishing move the Meltzer driver, for Christ's sake. So I'm ranting too much. Somebody take over here.
Can I say two things?
Please.
Say more than two things.
Gail, hey, thank you for saying hello. Good to see you, Gail.
Hey, let me also say hi to Gail, PJ, my buddy Julie Yates. Now y'all talk.
Couple things. One, I want to say hey to Gail. Two, since Jeff went through what he went through 3 or 4 years ago, and changed his life around, I think Jeff's work in the last 3 years is as good a work, or last 4 years is as good a work as he's ever done.
Totally agree. Agree.
And I think he absolutely could be a world champion for those guys. And I think he's probably, wrestling better than anybody on that show.
Well, I think right now, and I look at it this way, and here in Alabama, we've separated public high schools from private high schools, which I think is a major mistake. But anyway, this relates to it in this way. I think if you break down the WWE or you break down AEW or maybe even some of the other organizations, there are a handful of wrestlers, maybe 5 you can come up with, that are pure wrestlers that can work, that can sell, that can tell the story in a program. There's 5 in both companies, both of the majors for sure. Outside of that, the other ones are professional wrestlers in the 21st century, which I think is a hell of a lot different than the professional wrestlers that we and the people that are part of this show as our audience grew up to know and love. And I'm not knocking 21st century wrestling in as much as that's a whole different world. That is a whole different world. And in my world, that world is the trapeze of the circus, whereas professional wrestling is the embodiment of what the sport was supposed to be. That's my dividing line. So with that said, Jeff Jarrett is one of the best across the board workers in wrestling today, period. Cover quick and no excuses, period.
Period. I agree. Pat, any more comments on that subject before we get away from it and back to Memphis wrestling?
I agree. Well said, Michael.
Thank God for Memphis wrestling.
Thank God for Memphis Wrestling and the history of it. Hey, we're going to go back to a very successful year in Memphis Wrestling. 1982. We got several matches we're going to watch here, and it's just very interesting. This one was Jerry Lawler and Sweet Brown Sugar, Coco Ware against Beautiful Bobby Eaton and Sabu. Not the Sabu you remember from ECW. This guy later is Coco Samoa. This is 1982. Lance Russell doing the commentary. After that, we have Lawler against Bobby Eaton from 82 with Randy Hills doing the commentary. But right now, we'll start with Lawler and Sugar against Eaton and Sabu at 7 minutes, 15 seconds on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Michael, it sounds to me Lance is doing the commentary over the house mic.
I think you're right.
I never remember that happening at the Coliseum. Maybe it's something wrong with tape, because my match that we will see with Eaton, or with Eaton and Lawler in a single match, it sounds like I'm on the house mic, and I never did that.
I'm wondering if maybe there was a problem with the mic that Lance was using. So to get the commentary on this film, they had to do it over the house mic, because I'm like you, I've never heard it before.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bobby Eaton, how many great memories do you have of Bobby, Mike?
Well, I was mentioning how great of a worker that Jeff Jarrett is in our day and time. Bobby Eaton was one of the best that I ever had the opportunity and the honor of calling matches for, because everything Bobby did looked 100% real. He can make a bad wrestler look pretty good. He can make a good wrestler look really good. He can make a good wrestler look great in what he did. As he worked, he was the consummate pro and continued day after day after day to better his game up until he retired.
Pat, your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I was really looking forward when I saw the run sheet of seeing this. Are there two better in Memphis? Certainly this is two of the top four.
Bo makes sense in his comments, says it sounds like the way with the commentary because somebody recorded this off of the TV with their phone and then uploaded it. So that makes sense too, Michael.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense as well.
I liked how Lawler took that table book. As a heel, Bobby was so vicious. Look at that guy in the audience.
Helping out.
He's trying to help out. That guy worked for the Coliseum, as a matter of fact. I did know his name for many years, but forgot it now. That audio is just so distracting to me, Michael.
It is, and the wrestling match itself is this is outstanding. I've never seen. I think Lawler is selling in this match as well as any match I've ever seen himself.
I was thinking the same thing, Michael.
Now, I don't know the finish of this match. I'm thinking with Lawler taking the heat, and if he makes tag on Coco, I would guess they beat Coco. But we'll see. Talking Memphis Wrestling on the 3rd day of February. Big show next week, and we'll talk about that a little later on. We'll also have Pat and Michael both before Michael gets out of here a little early tonight, and we close up a little early tonight. I need Super Bowl picks a little later on, guys, as we continue watching this match from 82. Complete chaos in this match at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. Jimmy Hart, the busybody, man, he's so active, he never stopped. Carl Fergie was very good, Michael.
Underrated. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't use him in a more prominent role as a main eventer at some point in time.
Adam made a private chat comment because he knows I love powder involved in wrestling matches. I love the visual of it. I love it. And that
And they put shoe polish. They painted Lawler's face with shoe polish there.
absolutely, that was the interesting thing. What do you think, Pat, from 1982 Memphis?
I have never seen that before. I was looking forward to it all afternoon, and it did not disappoint.
Michael, real quick comments about that before we go to see a Lawler-Eaton single match with RH doing the commentary. But your thoughts to wrap
Just real quick, what I said, Lawler's selling like a son of a gun on that one. And actually, that match I'd seen only one time before. Really a good, when you look about it, it's not all the superstars, but it's good wrestlers, plain and simple, doing a good match.
Very good match, and I'll take that kind of wrestling over what Dave Meltzer likes any day of the week. The second one goes to Memphis, the Mid-South Coliseum from 82, Lawler, Bobby Eaton. It is 2 minutes, 51 seconds. Again, the audio is jacked up here, but I want to watch me some Lawler and Bobby Eaton and listen to some RH here on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Look at Bobby Eaton selling Lawler's punches. My goodness.
You don't see that much anymore.
You
Somebody
don't see that
selling
at
that
all.
good. Yeah.
Amen.
I love Calhoun taking referee lumps. He did a great job.
He was the best at it. He and Ronnie West could take a bump better than any referees that I've ever worked with.
Bobby was so good. Lawler was so good.
Oh, man.
Nobody does it. The Alabama Jam.
There you go.
Hell of a match as we get thoughts from Pat Trammell, then Michael St. John.
Hell of a match. Lawler didn't have the strap on. Yeah, that was a good match. That was a very, very good match.
Totally agreed. Hell of a commentary.
Yeah.
One of your best, Randy. One of your best. Excellent.
Really was. Yeah.
I don't know that, but
yes, one of your best.
It's always easier when the crowd is fired up and the talent is good. And here's another thing. I would not do good in AEW matches. I would suck as an announcer. First of all, I would be thinking in my mind, why are they doing this shit? Second thing I was thinking is that I know that Excalibur invents names of holds and calls a wrist lock some kind of foreign word or something. I don't know. And everybody names their own finishes and they a top wrist lock's not a top wrist lock. A spinning toe hold's not a spinning toe hold. So I could not. I would do it the way I always did it and call it what I've always said. Can you imagine, even you, Michael, if me and you did a match on AEW, if we did a match there with no interference from anybody else, we would call it the way we would know to call it. We would try to make sense out of it, and at the same time, the way we would get ripped an asshole by Dave Meltzer, who loves that Excalibur, who I think sucks.
Well, that would be the only match we would do, Randy, because we couldn't live in that bubble. And you're right. To me, a Boston Crab's a frickin' Boston Crab. It's not some jingle jangle make up something at lunch maneuver today. These young wrestlers that name an old hole something other than the real name of the old hole should be banned from wrestling.
Absolutely.
An O'Connor roll is an O'Connor roll. A small package is a small package. The Boston Crab's the Boston Crab. The Camel Clutch is the Camel Clutch. Forget this other bullshit. Quit putting labels on stuff that it's not. It's not. It's what it is. And
they're hurting themselves.
Absolutely. They're making themselves look like idiots.
Hey, here's one other thing that goes into that. Steve Austin didn't have a lot of moves, but he drew more money than anybody. One of the things that he did that was over and led to close to the end of the match was he threw the guy in and he did the old Thez press. Remember, Austin did the Thez press,
Right,
whether it
right.
was JR or Michael Coe or whoever the announcers. They didn't say it's a Stone Cold press. They didn't make up a name. They said when probably 90% of the audience didn't know what a Lou Thez was. But they called it, those announcers keeping up their credibility, called it, when Steve Austin did it, the Thez press. Why
Exactly.
wouldn't that work today? Because what you're doing is the announcer's job is to not only, a big part of the job is to educate the people on the history of the wrestling. That's when you throw in the Lou Theszes.
And let me throw this out there. The Excalibur guy doesn't know a freaking wrist lock from a wristwatch. I'll throw that one out there, and that's been used a million times. I want to know, and it's got to be because they're making millions of dollars, why Tony Schiavone and JR, who know better, play into that bullshit. Why do they play? It's got to be they're bought and paid for, because JR knows it's a Thez press. Tony Schiavone and his horrible announcing knows it's a Thez press. And then they call it something else or invent some magical word for something. A jackknife's a jackknife.
You
A
know,
wrist lock's a wrist lock. A top wrist lock's a top wrist lock. Hammer lock's a hammer lock. I don't get it. I don't get it.
People don't respect our business. Listen to this, Adam, and I can't put it on the screen because he did it in the private chat. He says, I saw a video where these podcasters were making fun of Corsica Joe and Sarah Lee on TNA because they didn't know who they were, and that pissed Adam off. I thought, not just the Tennessee territory, you know, back in Tulsa, they had Leroy McGurk, who's a former NWA World Champion who ended up blind. He ended up the promoter, and he was, believe it or not, they on that TV booked by Bill Watts. Leroy McGurk was a blind man doing color commentary. How did he do it? He would lead off of his play-by-play guy, plus he could hear the crowd. He could hear the crowd. He knew what was happening on the thing. Our business is screwed up. It really is. It's changed. And by God, I usually don't like to pick on my modern wrestling, but how can you not?
Well, the other point. Go ahead, Pat. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, and this is not my area of expertise, as you all know. But you know, one thing that comes to my mind, you know, the announcers today, and I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about Lance and Dave. You know, the announcers today want to be characters in the show. You know, hence hence Excalibur and all.
Wearing a mask, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, all that garbage. But you know, Lance and Dave were our people. Sterling Brewer was my guy. Gordon Soley was the voice of reason and professionalism. And that's not what these guys portray now. You know, they were, you know, Lance and Dave were the voice of reason. And all good announcers are. These guys are, you know, wink wink, part of the smart guys. And that doesn't do anything for me.
Well, they want to be in the story, or if they're not in the story, they want to be the story. And like you said, they want to be stars just like the guys on TV star. When I first got into this, Nick Gulas told me, you're here to put them over. That was rule number one. And if there was any question, read rule number one again. I was there to put them over. I've always approached every wrestling event, every match I've ever called, everybody I've ever worked for. It's not the Michael show. I don't care if anybody ever knows my name, period, when I'm doing a match. I want them to say, hey, I love that match, and I love the fact of whoever was talking about that match made me enjoy it and like it more. That's what an announcer is supposed to do. I'm no star. I never was a star. I don't want to be a star, and I never will be. But the fact of the matter is, I was told rule number one, put over what you see. I knew enough about the holes in the matches, and I knew about the angles, and I got a background in the pre-show or in the meeting. That was all I needed. Michael St. John never wanted to be the show or part of the show. All Michael St. John was wanting to be was the person that told people what he was seeing at the show. Bottom line.
I want to catch up real quick. This audience they felt this show. We're getting a lot of feedback here, and I appreciate it very much. Dr. Robinson is in the house watching this show today, and he said, Pat, you're correct, and Pat was correct. Doc says it's good to see everybody, and then Al Tuttle has some thoughts, if Adam would put up on the screen, about today's announcers, and we'll see it on the screen. It says today's announcers are too busy talking about the matches down the road than they are the ones happening in the ring at the moment, and that's true because obviously, first of all, it's TV. The people can see it, but Michael, do you agree that if you get too off track on describing the matches, even though you can see it, if you get too off track of the match, there's a fine line there. By talking about something else, you can distract the audience to what we're selling, and that's the wrestling match.
The whole beauty of TV is you see what you see, okay? And if you got somebody talking about grapefruits in the yard versus what you're seeing on the screen, you're going to lose track. You're either going to be listening about the grapefruits in the yard, or you're going to be trying to concentrate on what you're seeing on TV. I agree with that 100%. But let me tell you one of the reasons why that happens. When I was doing it, the first time I ever wore an IFB in my ear from the truck or the control room was in Dallas for ESPN. First time I ever had to wear an IFB, ever. And then Memphis at Channel 5 was doing it. And I never got calls in my ear to say, hey, tell him about the matches Friday night. Hey, tell him about so-and-so's cut on his finger. Hey, tell him about, never got I never once ever got somebody in my ear telling me what to say. Okay.
They might tell you go to a break, or they might
that
say,
I would get. Absolutely.
Or pitch to the video of Lawler against Dundee or something like that.
That's the calls. Every now and then they may want to post a card or an announcement during the match, and they would go, art card coming. And you would read what was on the card, whatever they popped up. Tickets now on sale for tonight's event if it was something big tonight or whatever. Never once with Jerry Jarrett, never once with Nick Goulas, never once with Randy Poffo or Angelo Poffo, never once anywhere did somebody bark in my ear, talk about her clothes, talk about what this is about. I didn't get that kind of direction. But I think what you've got now is you've got a lot of pretty faces or mask faces now that don't know hell about the business. They don't know what the hell they're talking about in the meantime. If they don't get the prompts, they don't know how to do commentary. I really believe that.
And I bet somebody like Jim Ross getting things said in his ear would distract him. I couldn't do it. Could you?
Even if one time on a Dallas show, they crisscrossed and Adam Dunn knows what I'm talking about in producing this show. They crisscrossed the L-R and in the feed to where I could hear me in one ear and I could hear anything that needed to be said to me, like throw to a break or we're going to a video or Jerry's in the back or whatever the case may be. And it was always like a half a second, a quickie, throw to break, and I would catch it. They crisscrossed the camera calls with what I was supposed to be hearing from the director, okay? And so I was hearing fade right, camera 3, angle on the back. And you talk about something that was distracting, and it went on for like 5 minutes. And I was pointing to my headphones like this on camera, and nobody realized it. And we came out of the match, and I threw my headphones down, and I said, for God's sakes, get the camera calls out of my head. And the floor director went, what? And I mean, they just didn't realize it. But distraction, just like that was a distraction to me calling the match, just like Pat and you just brought up. I'm talking about what I'm seeing, and I may throw in, and by the way, boy, this is a wild match, big rematch coming Monday night. That might be a little tease, but never once did I start talking about something 3 months in the making.
Very interesting talk, and right now we're going to go back to Memphis 82. Now, Adam, this is labeled 20 minutes, 14 seconds. We don't have 20 minutes to watch this. We'll watch the first match and then come out of it before this is over. This is Memphis Wrestling 82, and we'll see how hot Memphis was in 1982. Again, we'll come out of it, Adam, as soon as the match is over. So let's play that right now on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Jimmy Hart still wearing his hat. Eating and sugar against Steve Kern and Dutch Mantell. We're ready for the introduction for this main event.
Total weight 448 pounds on the left from Huntsville, Alabama, beautiful Bobby Eaton. And from Union City, Tennessee, Sweet Brown Sugar. Going against him at a total of 451. From Tampa, Florida, Steve Kern. And from Oil Trough, Texas, Dutch Mantell.
Michael and Pat, this is before the Fabulous Ones days. This was in 82 before they debuted.
And this was Dutch's best look, without a doubt.
I think so too.
I'll tell you what, it's something to say that Steve Kerr's probably the worst wrestler in this ring. With no disrespect to him.
The Dutchman.
With no disrespect, I agree with you. Totally.
Second.
It was a good move, and it might have been a better move because Dutch Mantell got out of it immediately. Bobby Eaton jumps in there, and Mantell goes after it. Boy, I tell you, no love lost.
There's no bad wrestler in this match.
No.
I think the best talent in this ring is, not in the ring now, he's on the apron, is Bobby Eaton. But Dutch and Coco right along with it. And Steve was great as well, but not that great.
Now, Kern was second generation, correct? His dad wrestled?
Run over into the turnbuckle.
No.
No, his dad was a military officer.
Oh, military guy.
Okay.
Ricky Fetz stopped in to say hello, so we say hello to you.
Hey, Rick. He was a POW in Vietnam, and I think he may have been a general officer, Mark.
Races to the corner.
If I had to rank these, I would rank 1, 2, 3, 4. I would rank Bobby, Dutch, very close behind Coco, and then Steve.
I agree with
I
that.
wonder if maybe he doesn't want to face Dutch Mantell in there. Now Eaton from behind nails Mantell.
Now, once Coco went to the WWE, made a ton of money, but the style they were working, Coco Ware wasn't the wrestler in New York that he was in Memphis, and that happened to a lot of talent, Michael.
Exactly. They made them more characters than talent once they got to New York.
Mantell nails Brown Sugar.
We don't have to referee our matches. Look at that. One man held him while the other one hit him. Look at that. Come on.
Jimmy Hart and all his complaining, seeing the injustice as being only against his team. Somehow he can't see when his team.
Beautiful Bobby Coco Ware against Dutch Mantell and Steve Kern and TV Wrestling. And William, I'm not sure Steve's dad was a two-time POW. Might have been, but I'm not sure of that.
I'm going to Google. You might be right, Rusty. I don't know. I know that he came pretty close to Jerry Jarrett recommended to Vince Sr. that when they went with Bob Backlund, they should have looked at Kern because of his dad being a military hero, being a babyface world champion.
I've heard that as well. Richard is also saying he's a two-time POW.
What happened, Jimmy?
God bless to him.
Jimmy is assuring him that
No offense, and God bless him, and thank you for your service. But how do you become a 2-time POW? If you get caught once, don't you try not to ever be caught again?
He was a fighter pilot, shot down twice.
Oh, okay.
Just standing there waiting for him.
Just a dangerous job. How about this competitive match on television? This breaks the mold of having non-competitive matches on TV. This is a hell of a match.
Doc, it was World War II and Vietnam.
Shane's asking, did Jerry Calhoun have anything to do with the production of the TV show, or was he strictly a referee? I wouldn't. It just seems insulting to say strictly as a referee. In the ring, refereeing the match, if there's young green talent there, he would help them. He would give advice and that sort of thing in the ring as the match is going on. But no, he didn't have any management role at all, but he was respected by everybody. Is that fair reaction to that question, Michael? Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, but I will say this: Jerry Calhoun is one of the smartest men that you would ever want to be around in a meeting when things were being discussed. And anything he did say or he would interject always made sense and would always work. Jerry Calhoun's a smart guy. I mean, he's not a dumb referee. He is a very, very smart guy.
We did an angle talking about Mr. Kern. We had Mr. Kern and Mr. Lane both on Memphis TV, and we shot an angle where I believe it was Roger Smith and Don Bass under Hoods beat them up on TV, and that brought Stan and Steve back from the AWA, and so it was a big angle that we did.
Eaton makes the side. Kern heads for the corner. He doesn't get there.
Randy, you were mentioning that Memphis this is a unique match for TV and that it's a main event kind of match. But Jerry did that often, that they would put a really great match on TV. Maybe not every week, but pretty much every week there would be a feature match that would be really, really good between two really good competitors or four really good competitors. And I think that really lent to the aura of great Memphis wrestling.
And it was usually the final match of the show, and it was usually an expiration of time.
That's right.
Type of match. And a lot of times, the Memphis show would just get to one fall, and the tape show might get two shows, and now this is turning into a wild brawl.
This becomes Memphis wrestling right here.
Referee Jerry Calhoun has called for the bell to be rung as he has just counted them out. 10 count on both of them. The match is stopped. That's going to mean stopped by the referee. So we do not have a winner here in the first fall of this expiration of time match. First fall stopped by the referee. Back in a moment.
And we'll come out of that right now and talk to Memphis Wrestling. And we get out of that. Pat, did you like that match?
I liked that match a lot, I tell you. And Steve Kern was doing great work there. Chris Ellis sent me and I think you and maybe a text that said he had watched an angle or watched on YouTube Steve talking about his dad's service, and I was looking it up, and I'll read this because I think it's real quick, Randy, if you'll indulge me. It tells you kind of how small the wrestling world is. Kern graduated from Robinson High School in Port Tampa. His father, Richard Kern, was a B-17 pilot who was shot down over Germany in September 1944, became a POW. In July 1965, when Kern was 13, Richard was shot down over Vietnam and taken prisoner. He was held in the Hanoi Hilton for 7.5 years.
Jeez.
While his father was in prison, Steve hung out with his school friend Mike Graham, whose father, Eddie Graham, was a wrestling booker, who was later inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
And I think maybe it was Eddie. I said Jerry. I think maybe it was Eddie Graham who talked to Vince Sr. and recommended Kern because of his father's background and the All-American boy and all that.
You just can't help but give Jerry Jarrett every bit of credit, even stuff that he didn't have anything to do with. Eddie Graham was brilliant as well. He
Yeah.
really was, and Jerry Jarrett might not have had that idea. He would have tried to talk Vince Sr. into putting it on Lawler. I guarantee you where he would go there. But that was a lot of fun watching that match, Michael.
It was. It was.
Absolutely. And I loved it from an announcer standpoint. I love when Dave does the rap. Lance Russell throws the break. We'll be back. And I'm sure he was getting this from the floor director. He's getting this. And I mean, just beautiful. We'll be back. Boom. They go.
Dr. Robinson says, wow, I didn't know Steve's father was a POW for that long. Hats off to Mr. Kern. And that was a great thing. We have a few more minutes with Michael. So we want to start with the pictures of the day. We had the one set with Andre the Giant and Lawler. So we're going to go up and start with 5187. 5187, and we're going to be told who this is, hopefully by Michael St. John.
Okay, well, that's Bullet Bob Armstrong to the right, and I want to say, is that Duke Myers? Who was that in the middle
Nature
there?
Boy Roger Kirby.
Roger Kirby. And then to the left is Harry Thornton, the commentator for Chattanooga TV, and his typical, I don't like what's going on look.
The next picture that we'll see right now, and I want Pat to discuss this one.
I can't see it. Who's that there on the left?
That's him in every picture. That is the great original Junkyard Dog. That is Norvell Austin.
Okay, that is Norvell.
Monroe, seen when he was a member of the Midnight Express with Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose. And then the bottom right picture is the fairly current picture. Thoughts, Michael, on Norvell Austin?
He could go. This guy could go. And had he had a little bit bigger push, I think he would have been even a bigger star, an outstanding athlete. Love the shot with him and Sputnik Monroe. And he's got the bleach blonde where Sputnik used to have the as I used to call it, the skunk streak down the middle of his hair. Or Norvell mocking that right there. Love those shots. Good man, Norvell Austin.
I don't know how old he was, but Norvell kind of went away in the late 70s.
Yeah, and maybe came back a little bit in the 80s as well. But Norvell was just a hell of a wrestler, no doubt about it. We'll real quick look at 5190, and I want you guys to help me with this one. That's Steve Kern choking somebody. Is that Bobby Eaton?
Yeah, it looks like Bobby Eaton. Yeah, absolutely, it looks like Eaton.
Now, I want to ask a question as you come to me and then go back to the next picture after me. I'm a Memphis guy. Pat and Michael are more the Nick Goulas end. This next picture, 5191, my question is this the most over babyface tag team in the history of Birmingham? Let's pick on Birmingham wrestling. Let's go with 5191. 5191.
Absolutely.
Bingo.
Yep, that's it.
Bingo.
That's it.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. That tag team did more for integration in Alabama than anything other than a Southern Cal Alabama football game.
Absolutely right.
That tag team right there. Incredible. Love those belts, too. Remember those belts weighed a ton. I remember picking one of those up. Those belts, I don't know what they were made of, but they weighed a ton.
Michael, go ahead for our audience, maybe our younger people. Give them a little more information about these guys, who they are, that sort of thing.
Len Rossi and Bearcat Brown. They were put together. Bearcat Brown came to town. He was a very large person of color in the time that integration and problems in the South becoming integrated were happening. He came to Nashville, got over pretty well. The first wrestler to ever use the leg drop. We were talking about the leg drop and Hulk Hogan a couple of weeks ago. Bearcat Brown used that same maneuver. Wasn't a great worker, had a great look. They paired him with Dennis Hall originally. And they took him to Birmingham in a time where, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Pat, but I believe the time they first brought him to Birmingham, that was the first time that a match where a black individual and a white individual were in the same match. If there was, they would bill it as two top black stars, and you'd see
That's right.
Bearcat right, or you would
That's
see those.
exactly right.
And then Bearcat sort of broke that, if you would, color barrier. And Lynn Rossi went, and I heard this story from both sides, from Lynn and from Nick, God rest their souls, that Lynn Rossi went to Nick Gulas and said, put me with Bearcat Brown, because there was such a large Italian population in Birmingham. It was a steel mill city. It had immigrants galore, most of which, a ton of which, were Italian. There was a club down there called the Roma Club, more Catholic churches in Birmingham than any other city in the South back then, the whole nine. It was a very Italian-oriented town. He said, put me with Bearcat Brown in Birmingham, and we'll draw money. And Nick Gulas looked at Lynn Rossi. He said, no, you'll get a shot. And Lynn insisted, and finally Nick put him together. They get in a match on TV with the interns, the masked medics originally, with Ken Ramey. And on Channel 42 television on a Saturday night,
I saw it.
Ramey gets the ether. They put the ether on Lynn Rossi and incapacitate him. They tie Bearcat Brown up in the ropes, spread eagle in the ropes, and they painted him white with white paint and a brush. Not spray paint, not a little brush. They painted him. The fans at ringside were going nuts. The place was going nuts. The phone rang off the hook Monday night at the Boutwell Auditorium. At that time, it wasn't the Boutwell, Pat. It was the City Auditorium.
City Auditorium, that's right.
In Birmingham on 8th Avenue North. The match was signed in 8th Avenue and between 20 and 22nd Street, if I'm correct. Match was signed immediately at TV, a return grudge tag team match, main event. The Medics with Ken Ramey against Bearcat Brown and Lynn Rossi. They sold out the arena for an 8 o'clock bell. The arena was sold out, and the doors were closed at 6:05. There were people in the streets. They had to close 8th Avenue, the fire marshals, the police, for crowd control. And it was the first time that black people who had to sit at the City Auditorium upstairs, they wouldn't allow them on the floor. Remember that? That was a caveat in the South back then. It was the first time that white fans and black fans united. There were white people upstairs, there were black people downstairs. And for the first time ever, they were cheering for one thing, and they wanted Lynn Rossi and Bearcat Brown to beat the snot out of the Medics. And if I remember correctly, there was a brawl that night all the way back to the stage and into the locker room. No contest. They bring it back the following week. Same scenario. More people there, sold out, close 8th Avenue, the whole 9 yards. And it became something, and I think the blow-off was like in week 4, maybe, that they finally got, that Lynn and Bearcat finally got the best of the Medics. But it did more. I mean, it was a cultural change of event in one of the most hardcore segregated cities of the South. And it changed the world. It changed the world in the South. That, along with Bear Bryant and John McKay bringing Southern Cal to Alabama in September, and Southern Cal with Sam Bam Cunningham kicking Alabama's ass 42-21. and
it wasn't that close.
No, it wasn't. And it was the first time that a black athlete had run roughshod over Bears boys. And as the story goes, Coach Bryant took Sam Cunningham and brought him into the Alabama locker room after the game, congratulated him in front of the team, and said, "This, my friend, or these guys, this is a football
player. That's right.
Not a white player, not a black player, a football player."
We will ask this question to Pat a little bit later on as we get Michael out of here right now. Go ahead with graphic 5237. It's one of the later things, because this Sunday is the Super Bowl. And so, Michael, who do you got? You got the Seahawks, or do you have the Patriots? What does Michael St. John think?
Well, I'm not very excited about the Super Bowl because I don't personally care about either one of the teams. I do like Mike Grable and the fact that he was the Titans head football coach and got done dirty. And I think that, I think Seattle's very good on offense. I think the Patriots may be a year away from winning it, but I've got a feeling that it's a West Coast game, and I think Seattle will come out on top. But I don't think the Patriots are going to go away anytime soon.
I don't think so either. Michael, next week, historian who is going in to the Thez Tragus Hall of Fame, Tony Richards, will be our guest, talking a little history of professional wrestling. That will be our guest next week, and I'm looking forward to it. So your real quick final take as we get you out of here, Michael.
Well, I apologize for taking this show off track, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope our folks that are watching really enjoyed it. And I want to thank you again, Randy. And Pat, it's always a pleasure being with you. You look great. I appreciate the opportunity to work and talk with you. And Adam Dunn, who is he does such a professional job. A great production guy, without a doubt. And let's just leave it at that. But
let's put up the new Talking Memphis Wrestling graphic, Adam, one more time. We have the bug up there, but Adam prepped this for us. It's Talking Memphis Wrestling with the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter X, and Twitch, streaming live every Tuesday night. He did a wonderful job on that, Michael.
I love that. That's a great logo, and it's a throwback to the old USWA background as well. So I think he did a fabulous job with that, and he does a fabulous job of producing the show. And it's an honor to know and work with Pat, and to know and work with Adam, and to know and work with you, Randy, of course. And love hearing you doing commentary today on one of your best calls ever.
Thank you, Michael. We'll see you next Tuesday on Talking Memphis Wrestling. And
Goodbye,
Adam,
everybody.
if you can give me a video transition, and we'll be back. Michael will be gone. Pat Trammell and I'll wrap it up and do the next 29 minutes or so for this show as we take a break and be back with Pat.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
We'll go back to the pictures of the week. We'll go with the picture right after Rossi and Bearcat Brown. It's 5192. 5192. If we go ahead and show this, and this is at the Nashville building, and this is Jackie and Roughhouse Fargo, and a very interesting one that I wanted to show Pat. It's 5193, the next picture, and this is pretty damn sad. This is Michael Hayes at Freebird Michael Hayes at the gravesite of Terry Bam Bam Gordy, who was born on April 23rd, 1961, passed away in July 16, 2001. So born 61, passed away in 2001, and I believe, Adam, I could help me, I believe it was either 98 or 99 that he wrestled for Power Pro Wrestling, and Adam will probably give me a date for this. But Pat, as Adam is answering the question, and I will see that. But Pat, as certainly Adam's not sure on the exact date, but he's saying it was from 1999. Pat, did this picture, did this graphic get to you?
You know, I never saw that. I've never seen that before. And you know, the Freebirds I saw them first in Atlanta. And, you know, obviously Watts put them together and brought Buddy Roberts in to round that team out. But, you know, as I sit here and think about it, I don't know a lot of big guys that can move like Terry Gordy.
No.
And I know we had him until he was 40 years old, but that guy had another 10, 12 years in him if he hadn't had his issues, and it was substance abuse that affected him in a lot of ways. And he was pretty, it was a pretty sad situation the last year or so of his life. But Terry Gordy, if you watch some of those old Freebird matches, he could work like nobody else.
We'll go through the next few pictures pretty quick as we'll do 5207. 5207, the next picture, and that is the interns,
Intern.
Dr. Ken Ramey. Next picture.
That's an older picture, I think.
At the
Yeah.
Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee, and it is, I would guess it was about 72, and with
Okay.
we go with the next picture, going through some of these real quick.
We're in
This is Don
Chattanooga,
Fargo,
Tennessee.
Tojo Yamamoto, and Harry Thornton.
Now Tojo is a baby face here. It looks like.
Yeah, being confronted by Don Fargo. Shane says, I believe Michael Hayes did a video tribute to uh, Terry Gordy. He did, and it was fantastic. As we do the
I'm gonna
next,
look. I'm gonna look for that, Shane. Thank you.
we do the next picture real quick, and this is somebody we lost too soon. He was born in '54, passed away uh, in 2023. He was 68 years old, so he's 4 years older than I am now, Leaping Lanny Poffo. The next picture on Talking Memphis Wrestling, as we go through this real quick, this is the Fargo brothers as the world champions, and we go again with the next picture. And it's an older picture of the fabulous Jackie Fargo. And the next picture is Fargo in action, Thomas Marlin, the referee. And this is the Bounty Hunters, followed by a great, I think, Chris Ellis's favorite tag team is the next picture. And it's Dennis Condrey and Phil Hickerson. And Pat will tell you who that announcer is.
That announcer in the very snappy sport coat is the one and only Sterling Brewer in Birmingham, Alabama.
Cool. That is very cool. And then we'll go with the
I'll,
next.
I'll tell you one thing. We've talked before about Phil and what a great worker he was. He was he was a he wasn't that tremendously. He didn't look that athletic. I mean, the guy's got a big gut on him, but man, he could move as well as anybody.
Yeah, great wrestler. Next picture. This was the subject, and uh, this one right here is the fabulous Jackie Fargo and Big Bad John, the bicentennial baby. Next picture after that. This is the subject of the Gerald Briscoe and John Layfield Bradshaw history, and this is Herb Welch.
Okay.
A lot about that if you listen to Tony Richards on his legacy on that podcast. He did a great job with the Welch family history.
Now that's Roy's dad, right?
Brother.
Brother. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Next picture is an older picture or recent, probably not too long before Don and Jackie both passed away. And the next picture is an action photo of Ken Lucas in action against the executioner. Next deal I want to talk about right now before we get to a video right now, Pat, as Adam puts the Super Bowl graphic back over. I don't know if you made your pick or not. I know you didn't have much interest. I don't like either team, but the legacy of it, I'll say the Patriots, and they're winning for the first time big, their first time in the Super Bowl since Tom Brady went to Tampa. Who do you got on this game Sunday?
I'm a little bit like Michael, and I shot Jeff a smart alecky text about it. He said Jared is a huge Titans fan, has been forever. I recommended putting a picture of him, a statue of him and his guitar outside Titan Stadium. I want to I had season tickets at one point. I wanted to like the Titans so bad, and believe it or not, somewhere in my mind, I thought, I'm tired of fighting this, 250,000 people in Tuscaloosa on Saturdays to play Mississippi State, who are 2-8. And you can't get in and out of there anymore. You don't go to football games anymore. It's like Mardi Gras. You got to park further and further away. And, hell, I'll get some Titans tickets. I'm a grown man. I won't let my life be, my happiness be driven by what Alabama does on a Saturday. I'll just be a Titans fan. And and so I was thinking about all that and had a friend of mine with some tickets, went a couple of times, trying to work my way into it. They hire Mike Grable. He gets them from absolutely awful to halfway decent, and it's not good enough, and they fire him, and 2 years later, he's got a team in the Super Bowl. Go Patriots.
Good people.
Go Patriots. F this, Titans.
Oh, my goodness. I wasn't expecting that. If Adam Dunn's not in shock, I may have to call somebody at his son or somebody and say, wake Adam up, because he's not coming. I think he passed out seeing you flip off somebody. That's the first time anybody's ever flipped off anybody on this show. I'm going with the Patriot as well. Final segment of the show we're going to do. It's a 10-minute, 25-second video. This was from 98 or 99. This involves me. It involves Brian Christopher and Jerry Lawler. It's 10 minutes and 25 seconds. I don't think you've seen this before. I think you will enjoy it. This is a start of the Brian Christopher heel turn. This is from Power Pro Wrestling, where I was the owner, the founder, and the president. We'll watch that video right now as we wrap it up on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Comes the owner, the founder, and the president of Power Pro Wrestling, Randy Hales. Randy, you heard what Jerry said, I'm sure, up in the booth. He said this match's not going to happen.
I did hear what Jerry Lawler said. I think people have misunderstood everything I've been saying for the last 20 weeks. I don't want to get rid of Jerry Lawler. I really don't. The only thing I want to do, Dave, is I want to smarten Jerry Lawler up. I want him to realize, I want Jerry to realize exactly what his life has come to. And it's all because of Stacy. If you think that Bill Clinton has problems with Monica, there's nothing compared to the problems Jerry Lawler has with Stacy. I want Jerry Lawler to wise up and understand all the bad things that's happened to him since Stacy's been involved in his life. Do you remember? Everybody remembers when everybody loved the King, including me. I was the biggest fan. Everybody loved the King. He was the star of Saturday morning wrestling. He even had his... people, listen to me, people. Do you remember when Jerry Lawler had his own television show on Sunday mornings on WMC? He was a star. He was a celebrity. As a matter of fact, I brought a clip. And this was Jerry Lawler when I loved him. Jerry Lawler at the high point of his career, the Jerry Lawler Show, and we have a clip of that I brought for everybody to love and remember here. Let's take a look at this clip.
She has made good on her promise.
I promised you, and I delivered.
You have delivered, and this is
Lawler.
And it's, we've had some big names.
Watch number 2.
He's got to be one of the biggest. So this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you all know by now, but this is the quarterback of the Houston Oilers, the most valuable player in the National Football League last year, Warren Moon. Warren, welcome to Memphis. Welcome to my show.
Pleasure to be here, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
How did she get you to come here and be on this show?
Just look at her. Any man will follow her anywhere.
Well, there you go, Randy. That was the Jerry Lawler Show, no doubt about it.
Did you see that? Who was associating with Jerry Lawler there? Warren Moon, a superstar, right?
Yeah,
An absolute superstar back then. And then did you see who else was in that clip?
Yeah, I did. Now, Randy, let's not go there.
Yeah, you saw exactly who was on that clip. And that's what Stacy broke up. You saw that beautiful blonde. That's what it was, the best thing that ever happened to Jerry Lawler. Well, let me tell you something. That's what you lost, Jerry Lawler. That's what you lost because of Stacy, and you lost a lot of other situations. So what I want to do right now, it's not only with
So many people. Me, the relationship I had with Jerry Lawler ruined because of Stacy and another person. I would like for Brian Christopher to come out here for a minute.
Well,
you know, I'd like for Brian to just come out here for a minute because, you know, of course my job is to have the best matches possible. I try to make the best match possible, and Jerry Lawler refused to do it.
Well, it would be a great match, no doubt about it, but I certainly understand Lawler's refusal to do it. I understand his not wanting to ruin the partnership relation that he has with Brian here, as a matter of fact. Brian?
Randy, I heard you call me out here, but I'm just going to tell you, I don't care what you're the owner of, what you're the president of. If you say something I don't like, I'm not going to think twice about splitting your lip, okay?
Now, let me ask you this. Over the years, we've known each other a long time. Over the years, what kind of relationship, professional relationship have we had, good or bad?
We used to have a good relationship.
And now you're not around much, right? With your contract with the WWF, you're not around much. But personally, we haven't had no blow-up, right? Personally, we hadn't had a blow-up.
No, we haven't, no.
I haven't said bad things about you on television. I haven't done anything. The situation is, Brian, and I wanted you out here because besides myself, you've had just as long a relationship with Jerry Lawler. And what he's doing, Brian, is he's ruining himself. Me as a friend of Jerry Lawler, you as somebody close to Jerry Lawler, we got to make him, Brian, see what Stacy's doing to his life. We got to do that. You need to help me. I'm asking you.
Why is Stacy or what Jerry Lawler's doing to his life, why is that any of your business?
Because I admire the guy and I love the guy.
That's what I don't understand.
It is my business because as a friend, this is like tough love, Brian. This is like tough love. I have to straighten the situation out. Let me tell you another thing. A situation today with you. Because of Stacy, it's interfering with your life. Stacy is interfering with your life because is your goal not to be the biggest star in Memphis wrestling? Have you not said that?
Yes, everybody knows that.
The top dog in Memphis wrestling. Well, it's not going to take place because Jerry Lawler's not going to let it take place because the old situation, just like when Jackie Fargo was the top dog, till he stepped aside, then Jerry Lawler made the rise to the top. But Fargo had to step aside. And it's time for Jerry Lawler to do that, Brian, but he won't do it because Stacy's plugging around, plugging away. Be on that TV, be on that TV, be on that TV. And that takes TV time. He comes out here and does a 30-minute interview. And then the one time you got hot at me was because we ran out of the show and you couldn't be on the show because we ran out of time. He's jealous of you, Brian, because he's jealous of you because you're a better wrestler. You're a better wrestler. And the reason he canceled this match here, Brian, the reason he canceled this match is he knows you can beat him, and he don't want that to happen. Can you beat Jerry Lawler on this television show?
First of all, well, yes, I can beat Jerry Lawler. I think I can beat Jerry Lawler, but that's beside the point, Randy. I don't believe that Jerry Lawler is jealous of me. The reason he don't want to have this match is there's no reason to have this match. It's not going to prove a thing.
It'll prove a thing. It certainly will, and it's because of Stacy. Stacy's in her head and said, because obviously you're cuter than Jerry Lawler. All the little girls like you. Even all these people realize it. You're a better wrestler than Jerry Lawler, and that's the thing. He's absolutely jealous. He is jealous. He's trying to hold.
Hey. You talk about somebody getting a lot of TV time. You're out here running your mouth for an hour here. This is a wrestling show. Brian, don't stand here and listen to this idiot. Just tell him to shove it and come on and get out of here. We're not having the match. Come on, let's go.
You know he'll beat you. You know he'll beat you.
Just tell him to go jump the leg and let's go. Come on.
Well, first of all,
come on.
Are you telling me what to do?
Yeah, I'm telling you to tell this idiot that what I do is none of his business, just like you told him before, and let's go. Let's have a wrestling show here. You got some other matches, Randy?
Hey, hold on just a second. First of all, just let me just tell you this. This is one reason I've never understood. Why is it he called me out here? Why is it whenever anybody comes out here, you think it's your business to come running right here behind them?
Is that true? Are you a TV air hole? No, because what the problem is, is he called you out here to talk about me. And you two idiots are standing here talking about me when you should be in the back. That's what I'm telling you. So come on. Yeah. I'm telling you to tell him to go jump in the lake and let's go.
Well, first of all, you can take all that bass out of your voice when you're talking to me, okay? And second of all, I'm not an idiot. I can stand out here and talk to whoever I want to, whenever I want to. There's no reason for you to call me an idiot. And another thing, what is the reason that you canceled this match, huh? I thought it was because there's really nothing for it to prove. But why did it? Why did you say that you didn't want to have this match?
Okay, what do you want? You want to let this string bean standing right here have his way? Can you not see what he's trying to do? Can you not see that he's trying to turn Stacy against me, and now he's trying to turn you against me? He's trying to turn everybody against me? Are you too blind to see that?
I'm not too blind to see anything. All I know is I was standing out here. You came out here. Now you're calling me an idiot. You're telling me what to do. You think you run this place just like you have for years and years. And that, you know, everybody said you got to beat Jerry Lawler to be the new king of Memphis, to be the number one wrestler.
Come on, let's get out of here. Let's go.
Hey, well, is that true?
Standing out here talking about this crap in front of this idiot right here.
Put your hands on him. I think that might be true. I think you might have to beat Jerry Lawler to prove to everybody in Memphis that you're the number one wrestler. I think you might have to beat Jerry Lawler right here on TV to show the world who the better man is. Is that what it's going to take?
Hey, let me tell you something right now, and get this through your thick skull. If you want to listen to this idiot, I'll tell you right now, you can't beat Jerry Lawler, and there ain't nobody around here that can beat Jerry Lawler. You understand that? Now, tell this idiot what I'm telling you to tell him, to go jump and let's go.
I'm not going to tell him anything, but what I am going to tell you is I can beat Jerry Lawler. You understand?
Hey, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Hey, come on, Brian. Wait a minute. Wait. Come on, Brian. Not here. Let's referee, stay here. Let's get this. This is not time, place for this. No. If you want to have the match, it's booked for later on. Let's take a break, Corey. We'll be back in a moment and see if we're going to have this match or not. We're going to have it.
So the bout is going to take place, Randy.
What he says, we'll see. Stay with us.
Before I get Pat's opinion on that right now, Pat, I got a text message right now from Chris Ellis a few minutes ago at 8:41. He was watching this show from home. I don't know, he'd sent it in the group chat. I don't know if you saw it or not. He says, wow, Pat going off the rails with the the Titans. So we did a lot of anti-modern wrestling. Obviously, that was no 5-star match. It might have been a 20-star segment, in my opinion, but that's storytelling one-on-one. But that's me. I was involved in it. Watching that, Pat, for the first time, I am sure, from 1999, the whole setup, 10 minutes. Was it worth 10 minutes of TV time?
It was worth 10 minutes, and all I kept thinking of is real issues sell. And I think somebody else, Thomas, mentioned that too. Maybe they're shooting a bit there. I don't know what Brian and Stacy's relationship was or anything, but it was good heat. It was great heat. And I'll tell you, Brian certainly left us too soon, but that guy, he had it all. He had it all in him.
I enjoyed seeing that from Power Pro Wrestling. I believe we'll be back on Monday night, February 23rd. Adam and I will be here as we're going to take a look at a very interesting Power Pro show, and so make sure you're with us, put it in your book. Of course, we're here every Tuesday night with Talking Memphis Wrestling. Pat, we have a special guest next week, and Adam, if you could just put that up there. I'll set it up, and I got acquainted by Pat enjoying watching Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw on the Welch legacy, and it was just a what was it, Pat? A 10-part series?
Yeah, it was 10 or 11, I think. Yeah, went a long time. It's probably as in depth a wrestling trilogy, not trilogy, but a wrestling group of podcasts as I've seen. And Jerry and John do a great job on their podcast there. But Tony did a lot of work, and I know there are a lot of people involved in that work, and there are a lot of great wrestling historians around. Bo James being one of
I
the
knew you would
best.
go that route.
But
You can't cave in.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. But I mean, it was extremely interesting, and uh, Tony has done a lot of work on it, so I'm excited to have him visit with us.
Let's go ahead with a couple of those other pictures if we could, Adam. I think I uploaded 3 of them. This is Tony, and apparently I want to talk to Michael because in the St. Louis market, because Tony was a radio guy, executive, and Michael and Tony has worked together, correct, Pat?
That's what I understand. Tony reached out to me, and I've not known him except on these, and I think I commented on Twitter or something or X, and he reached out and asked me. He's watched our show before and enjoyed it very much, and he mentioned that, and then asked me to connect him with Michael. So look forward to visiting with him next week.
And I think we have another picture or two, if we do, Adam, of this. This is one of the things you can search. He's on Facebook, Tony Richards. He's worth a follow. Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel, your home, the history of territory wrestling. It's the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel. So, Pat, we'll do that next Tuesday night. We'll be here at 7 o'clock. So, Pat, you got to be here next Tuesday.
I'll be here. Basketball's over unless we get on some great run here in the playoffs, which I love my Altamont Knights, but I don't think that's going to happen. So.
Eddie Cox says hello to me and hello to you, and we say hello
Eddie?
to him as well. Real quick, final take from Pat Trammell.
I'll tell you what, I have missed being here, as you know, and you and I talk about every day. But I have missed being with our friends, and this is the best part of my week, and I'm glad to be back. I've got basketball responsibilities with a high school here local during the season. But it was outstanding today, and we touched on a lot of different errors and a lot of different people that we don't see that much. And I particularly enjoyed reaching back and touching Norvell and Bobby and Lawler. Those were great matches. And Eddie, if you missed the show, go back and watch it on Facebook or
YouTube or
YouTube
Twitch or Twitter.
Yeah, we're out there forever. Unfortunately, in some instances, but anyway, Randy, thank you and thank Adam for all the work you do for this. I mean, I think Michael and Chris and Doc and I would agree. We have fun here, and but you guys put the work in each and every week, and it's an honor and a joy for me to be here with you and Adam and all our friends. And thank you for being with us on Tuesday nights.
You're a big part of this show, and we appreciate it very much. Everybody have a good. Let me ask you another question. Are you going to have a Super Bowl get together at your house? Will you watch with Wyatt? What will you do Super Bowl Sunday, or will you be at church?
Well, I don't think no, I'm not a nighttime church guy. I doubt it. I'm sure Wyatt will be at his other home, Odie's in Mountain Brook, Alabama, betting. And it's pro football, and our pro football around here is college. So I'm going to watch it, and I have plans to watch it, but I'm not one way or another. It's not going to change my life.
Hey, what is at the Pat Trammell house, or if you're visiting somebody, what is your favorite Super Bowl food? What would you like to eat if you're at a Super Bowl party?
I'm pretty traditional. I'm a wing guy. I'll get some
Wing guy.
wings. Yeah.
I like rotel dip with sausage.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic too.
We'll be here next week with Tony Richards. Michael St. John will be back. It was good knowing that Chris Ellis and Dr. Rusty Robertson was watching the show today. This was fun, Pat. This is the first time in a row I can say as Al Tuttle says, lemon pepper wings. I've never had that in my life.
I like lemon pepper wings. Yeah, don't sleep on those. Those are good.
All right. That is a good thing. Hey, Al, I stole that from the front row with Bud Roll. Bud's been asking everybody what was the dish, so I thought I would steal his little bit there. Didn't do it with Michael, but still, it is what it is. Richard Hood says jerk wings. It was a great show today. It's going to be 2 hours long exactly. That's pretty good, but we got to get out of here right now to do it. For Pat Trammell, Michael St. John, Randy Hales saying bye, and thanks to Adam Dunn. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales is now streaming live on Fun Media at fun927.com and is always on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and at tv5wrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.